Coming up on KUJH, we give you an update on the removal of the sacred rock in Robinson Park.
And find out how students coming back affects the community.
Still to come, we'll find out how crucial your headlights are for your safety and the others on the road.
Live from the studio in Stauffer Flint at the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Welcome to KUJH News. I'm Jackson Reed.
And I'm Claire Decatur.
Claire, it's a new semester. It's the new team, bunch of new vibes. How you feeling?
I mean, I'm honestly pretty excited for what's coming up.
Claire, earlier this week marked the 22nd anniversary of the tragic events that took place on September 11th, 2001.
Manhattan, Kansas joined many around the nation.
A lot of kids weren't even born there.
The Manhattan community wants to ensure we don't forget those who tragically lost their lives and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice to try and save others.
A lot of kids weren't even born there. And so if you don't have these type of events, they won't know the history of what actually happened on that day. And this is one of those events that we don't want anyone to ever forget.
I think it's important that we remember it through our actions and that we take the time to pause annually, but every day, to use it as an opportunity to do something good.
Representatives for Manhattan will also add that they will continue having the event as long as there's people to remember 9/11.
Claire, crazy occurrences happen all the time, but this one has topped my list. On 9/11, in New York City, there was not one rainbow, but there were two rainbows. Proof that you can change anything from a negative and make it into a positive.
Right now we are taking a live look outside at KU. This is a glance at Lawrence's campus here in KU. We have tons of blue skies right now. As you can see, some of the trees are still hanging on to that green. And this is a glance at our satellite and radar. We are staying clear here in Lawrence. We have some action to the northwest of us right now and then some action down south as well. But for the next couple of days, we are going to be seeing a lot of sunshine. If you have allergies, it may be a good idea to get into that routine of taking that allergy pill again because allergies are on the rise this week. Trees, mold, and grass pollen are all up there in medium, later in the week jumping up to high, so it would be a good idea to jump into that routine. Temperatures right now are in the 70s here in Lawrence, a little bit warmer to the south of us, sitting at 75 there in Ottawa. And as the day goes on, our class planner will show us that our temperatures are jumping up into the 80s for today. So it will be much warmer than we have been experiencing with those nice cool 70s. And today's high is going to be at 84 degrees, lots of sunshine. So make sure you are drinking plenty of water. But as the evening goes on, we are going to dip back into those 50s for this evening. 52 for our low. We have a nice southeast wind coming out at 5 miles per hour this evening. And then those cooler temperatures are going to carry with us into tomorrow morning as well. This is a glance at our future forecast for us. We can see that we have Hurricane Lee out here coming up the east coast this week, heading towards Massachusetts right now. But here locally in Lawrence, we have this line of storms that are going to start to appear later into the week, and then that's giving us a 20% chance of rain throughout the week. So this is a glance at our 7-day extended forecast for us. We have sunny conditions for tomorrow, and then for the next couple of days, those sunshines are going to carry with us 20% there on Saturday, and then our next chance of rain that we'll be tracking is there on Tuesday at 30% chance of rain. Lows are in the 50s, highs are back into those 80s, a little bit warmer this week than we were last week, guys.
Wow, thanks, Ashton. I'm so excited to see the weather cooling down after a really brutal summer.
Just last month, a heat wave in Kansas set record high temperatures in Lawrence. The temperature reached up to 134 degrees.
To make accommodations, Lawrence High pushed back outdoor sports practices to evening hours. Some days started practices at 8 p.m.
We had a couple kids get close to heat exhaustion, but we were able to just pull them out, sit them down, let them cool off, and I just let them rest the rest of the game. There's no sense in pushing that with anyone.
Though temperatures are no longer 100, Coach Campardo prioritizes health and the well-being of student athletes now that the temperatures are starting to lower.
Thanks, Libby. Always good to get insight on the high school level of the Lawrence community, but for the college level, however, a record-breaking freshman class, as well as Lawrence students being back in Lawrence, has caused a little bit of a culture change here on the Hill.
School started at the University of Kansas, which means Lawrence just got a whole lot busier.
For 2 months out of the year, Lawrence loses their college students for the summer. According to Population U, around 20% of Lawrence's population is 20 to 24 years old. Grace Jones has lived in Lawrence for 13 years and says it's easier to get around Lawrence when students aren't in school.
It definitely is a little bit more quiet and not as many people are on Mass Street, but you see the locals coming out. All the locals who normally are living here throughout the year, you just are more aware of them as they're out and about.
Logie's is a local and college bar on Massachusetts Street. Server Sophia Luna says not only is the atmosphere different over the summer, but her amount of tips is too.
There would be times where I would leave after sitting there for 5 hours and not have a single table. I will say Logie's runs on students, and we are student-based, and it's really cool to see when the students do come back that Logie's character comes back as well.
For KUJH, I'm Claire Decatur. A Mass Street Museum has opened a new exhibit. We'll take you inside to find out more.
Watkins History Museum is the site of a brand new exhibit on soldiers returning home from the Vietnam War. I spoke with museum curator Brittany Keegan to ask about the inspiration behind the exhibit.
This exhibit is about soldiers returning from the Vietnam War. 2023 marks the 50th anniversary of the withdrawal of troops, particularly U.S. troops from Vietnam, so we wanted to look at that time period, but we really wanted to focus on the veterans' experience.
Artifacts from veterans are littered all throughout the exhibit, as the true meaning of the exhibit is to tell the story of the veterans that have served.
It is very emotional because it is a lot of people's firsthand accounts. There are passages from books people have written. There is poetry from veterans who have used that form to kind of process their experience. And so what I've heard from people who've come through the exhibit is how powerful it is sharing those emotions.
For KUJH News, I'm Jackson Reed.
On Quartzsite Border, otherwise known as the Sacred Red Rock, originally native to the Kaw Nation, was removed from its native setting 93 years ago. The 28-ton boulder has been located at Robinson Park on West 6th Street since 1929. The rock itself bears significant spiritual culture and historical value for the people of the Kaw Nation. The Lawrence City Commission received a formal request for the boulder's repatriation from the Kaw Nation in December 2020. In March 2021, the city officially expressed regret to the Kaw Nation for the boulder theft and promised to have it returned. On August 29th, the plans have been in place for removal, have officially been put into action. Reporter Aiden Peslow takes us downtown with KU professor Rebecca Strickling, covering the impact on what the rock means to the people of Kaw Nation.
A lot of people don't realize, in native languages, everything's alive, everything is living. So even rocks or boulders or whatever it may be, it has a life, it has a past, it has stories to tell. A lot of people say those are our oldest grandfathers because they've been here before anything else. And so they have a lot more wisdom to share with us than any.
The rock will be brought to its rightful place, Council Grove, where Kaw Nation will be able to take good care of it and to embrace its spiritual, cultural, and historical value. As of now, Robinson Park is being remodeled and cleaned as workers begin disassembling the base and removing the smaller rocks. The city of Lawrence looks to close down and revamp Robinson Park to start its own historical landmark.
Since the removal of the rock and because of the water line project, Robinson Park has remained closed. KUJH reporter Abby Lord is live at Robinson Park. Abby, what can you tell us?
The historic Robinson Park is made to honor the first settlers of Lawrence and is closed to the Vermont Street Bridge Waterline Rehab Project, which does cost $1.5 million. As you can see, the plot of land holding the waterline ready to go. At February 14th City Commission, Christopher Rice, the senior project engineer, explains the purpose of the waterline.
Project is to replace the piping that goes across 6th Street and across 2nd Street, as well as what's suspended beneath the bridge. Well, we'll be rehabbing that portion.
Enclosures in the future for this pipe on 6th Street. When the project is done, there will be 2 water feeds to the North Lawrence prior to the leaks around North Lawrence in 2021. The fencing will be removed toward the end of the year. I'm live at Robinson Park. I'm Abby Lord.
Welcome back to KUJH. I'm Aiden Peslow. As we get deeper into the fall semester, the KU football and soccer seasons are heating up. We will cover all of that and more today on KUJH Sports. KU football is off to a 2-0 start this season with dominant wins over Missouri State and the University of Illinois. The Jayhawks crushed Missouri State 48-17 in Week 1 before hosting Illinois this past weekend. The offense started off with a 14-0 lead at the end of the first, and Jalen Daniels' injured back looks like a thing of the past as he threw for both first quarter touchdowns in his first game of action this season. After rushing touchdowns by Daniel Highshaw and Devin Neal, KU found itself up 28-7 at half. Although the second half didn't go exactly as planned as the Hawks turned the ball over 3 times and didn't score a touchdown. But an interception by defensive back Mello Dotson sealed the 34-23 win. The Jayhawk football team looks to continue their win streak, and this Saturday they will travel to Reno to take on the 0-2 University of Nevada Wolfpack. KU soccer got off to a fast start this season, and the Jayhawks remain undefeated for 7 matches, knotting 3 wins and 4 ties. Forwards Haley Clanky and Lexi Watts lead the team with a combined 6 goals, 37 shots, and 20 total points. KU did suffer their first loss of the season over the weekend in Pullman, Washington, to 15th-ranked Washington State in a 1-0 defensive battle. The Jayhawks play 3 road games against Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Central Florida before coming back home on September 28th to play Baylor. Ever since she was 4 years old, Eudora High School student Joellen Vogt has been playing golf. Now, in her senior season, Vogt is looking to lead her team to the state championship for the first time in school history. Reporter Jack Denenbaum has more on the story. Jack?
Every time she swings her golf club, Eudora High School's Joellen Vogt seems to make school history. But as she tees off her senior season, Vogt only has one thing on her mind.
I'm looking forward to state this year. Our goal is to take the team to state, and I'd really like to see it happen.
For the last 3 years, and for as long as Eudora High School has had a girls golf program, Vogt has represented the team at the state championship meet. Vogt has placed 20th, 6th, and 8th at the event the last 3 years. Vogt says it is a surreal feeling for all of her accomplishments to go down in the school history books.
I mean, it's awesome. Like, we got the program started first year, and we have someone go to state and medal. Like, it's incredible.
Vogt started playing golf at the age of 4. Her father built a small golf course for her to practice on in their backyard. As she continued to build her game, Vogt started taking lessons from former professional golfers Jeff Bury and Tom Watson. When she reached middle school, the high school golf program was just starting up after it had failed to come together multiple times. Vogt attended school board meetings to learn more about the program. While she may not have known it at the time, head golf coach Susan DeVoe said Vogt's presence at those meetings really helped the golf program get off the ground.
I thought that was great because that showed interest in the middle school level, so that meant that it wasn't going to be just a high school interest level, that coming from the middle school, that's sustainable. If we didn't have anybody else coming up, just the people who were here would probably fizzle out.
Now, with Vogt in charge and 11 members on the team, DeVoe says there's a good chance the team can make it to state for the first time in school history. After she wraps up her senior season, Vogt plans to take her golf career to the college level and hopes to maybe go professional someday. Vogt and the Cardinals golf team continue their season Wednesday when they travel to Spring Hill. I'm Jack Denenbaum, reporting for KUJH News.
It's still low. And that's going to wrap it up for sports this week. Coming up next, we will give you an insight on why KU students believe parking on campus is harder than ever before. We will be right back after the break.
As the campus ramps up operations for a new school year, a number of returning students are noting that parking is more difficult this year than years past. KUJH reporter Blake Ullman has more.
For the 80% of KU students living off campus, weekday mornings begin with the daily commute to campus. This year, students with the most popular yellow parking passes are having difficulty finding parking due to a decision by KU officials to not limit the number of yellow permits sold.
Yeah, there are just so many cars here constantly, and it's impossible to get in and out of a lot of these lots. Immediately after classes, it is just so incredibly busy that I am surprised there are not more accidents and injuries.
Talking with students who parked behind me in lot 90, a lot of them have expressed frustration with how overcrowded the parking lot is. Some saying that it takes them 10, sometimes 15 minutes to find a parking spot if they can find one at all, and many talking about how they've had experiences this semester being late to class.
Inside KU's parking office, parking employees are working to free up more parking for students, but they're also encouraging students to take advantage of other lots around campus.
We did sell more parking permits than last year. The number of permits is up about 575 after the first 2 weeks of school. Parking in the first week of school was horrible for everybody. On the fly, we identified 2 sections of staff parking that were being underutilized, and we changed a total of 120 parking spaces over from red or blue to yellow parking.
Despite the decision to sell more parking permits this year, DeVries wants to stress that there are enough parking spots to accommodate everyone with a permit. I'm Blake Ullman for KUJH News.
Thank you, Blake. For more information on KU parking and transit, head to parking.ku.edu.
If you've ever had a headlight or a taillight go out, you know the financial burden of getting it fixed.
But now in Lawrence, you might not have to break the bank to turn your car's lights back on. KUJH reporter Dylan Vanderveen has more.
A headlight going out can turn expensive fast, meaning many people to buy less than adequate lights or not get them fixed at all. However, not getting your lights fixed causes serious danger for not only you, but the other drivers who can't see you coming.
To show you the difference, here's me on a canvas road when the lights are on. When the lights are turned off, it can turn driving into disaster.
But in some cities, there's now a company helping people stay safe. Lights On, a program that allows drivers who get pulled over by law enforcement for a faulty light to get it fixed for free instead of a ticket.
You know, there's usually a lot of lower income people that are coming in, and so that's money they don't have to take out of their other budget to keep their lights going, keep it going, and also don't have to pay a fine.
Here's how it works. If you're driving in Lawrence and an officer pulls you over for a broken light, instead of receiving a ticket, they hand you a voucher that you can take to any participating auto shop and get it fixed for no charge at all.
It's probably the only time that I appreciated getting pulled over because at the time I didn't have a lot of money, and so getting it fixed for free really helped.
The nonprofit has quickly grown and has partnered with 163 police departments in 21 different states and has helped fix over 8,000 lights.
Helps the community, helps the police relationships with the community, and keeps everybody going.
And as long as the program stays funded, Lawrence PD and the 3 participating Lawrence shops will help people drive safely on the road.
As long as we keep the funds rolling and Blue Santa helps out and other people will help out, we'll just keep people and keep their lights on.
Lawrence Police Department added they hope this brings more positive interaction between the police force and the community. Until next time, reporting for KUJH, I'm Dylan Vanderveen.
For any more information on the Lights On program, you can visit their website at www.lightsonos.org.